Yeah, it sure is a great day for golf, but then again, what day isn't? This was always my favorite part of the day. I knew on the first tee I was at least close to the lead.
Hello, Tony here, and hope that everyone's well and the golf's going good. As promised, I just thought I'd start off with some really basic stuff with this video, just to help you if you're sort of overwhelmed with your golf journey and you've started playing golf, or you're a fair way into it and you think, oh no, run into a bit of a rut and there's so many things that you've got to fix up. So hopefully some of these tips are going to help you out. So first point, especially when you're playing a practice round and you're just starting out, there's really no point in playing anything out of a bunker or a tree, or just trying to do those miracle shots that you either see on the internet or on TV during the rounds, because you're paying good money to play on a golf course, so you might as well be where all the good stuff is, where all the work is done, which is, middle of the fairway, greens. So, don't be afraid to pull your ball out of the trees, because there's no point practicing those shots unless you want to be in the trees all the time. And I'm sure you don't go to the driving range with blow up trees and put them in front of you just so you can try and hook and fade balls around trees. There's nothing in the way of you on a driving range. So do the same thing out on the course, because it'll also be sort of a good thing in a number of ways, and that it'll the guys behind you are going to appreciate you a lot, because you're probably, by just running in, grabbing your ball, coming back out and having hit on the fairway, is actually going to save a fair bit of time and help you enjoy your round. So you're not feeling under pressure to play fast or anything. You can actually concentrate on your shots on the middle of the fairway and have a quick round at the same time. But yeah, there's no point paying hundreds of dollars to play around at a really, really, really good golf course and just be stuck in the trees and the bunkers and hazards all day, when you're actually playing in the middle of the fairway. Yeah, look, if you want the challenge, or if you're playing a club comp, or you're playing against your mate for a drink or whatever the case will be, then yeah, you got to play it where it lies, pretty much, unless you have an agreement or there's other rules in play. But yeah, it's always a good one that when I don't play that many practice rounds. I'm a little bit different, that I've got to start doing that. But if I was to play a lot more practice rounds than what I do, then certainly, yeah, I'm wanting to play in the middle of the fairway, because that's where I want to be. So you might as well play where you want to be, then rather where you don't, because it sort of bleeds on to the second point that I've got there. So yeah, a lot of people will just, but they'll you always hear the expression, "Oh, I hit it so good on the range, but as soon as I come out onto the course, I play terrible." So if you are having one of those rounds, it's just like in a comp, for instance. If I'm in the middle of a comp and I look halfway through my round and I go, right, okay, this is just not on. It's not normally how I play. Then I'll certainly just, yeah, I'll be feeling it through the round. Is my putting bad? Am I just haven't hit a fairway of my driver? Am I topping all my, like, I know my fairway woods. I've got to go out and practice those. So I'll keep topping those. So that's one thing. I'll look to cut down all three putts. So if I was three putting all the time, it's, foot down right. Just, concentrate a bit more on that first putt. Just try and get your lag speed going to get you close to the hole, so you're not having, and that starts to cut down shots. And it'll also be one thing that with your game, that you'll go, right, I've been able to fix up a few of these areas. I don't have to worry about them. And then it's sort of, you go, okay, well, I'm not as overwhelmed now. There's only a few other things that I need to fix up, or at least you can break it down and go bit by bit, because that's the best way to go with the golf. So always, and I'll touch on it later on. Yeah, don't try and fix everything up at the same time. Just go bit by bit. So by using a bad round to improve one area, it gives you a bit of confidence, and you go, well, if one area is bad, if my driving's off, I know that my chipping and putting will get me back into the hole. And yeah, obviously, if you're struggling with your chipping and your putting, that's one of the first areas where you're going to gain a lot of shots if you can fix that area up. The other thing wanted to say, which a lot of people don't think of, is that when you go to a driving range and it's repetition, ball after ball after ball, because you're developing the muscle memory to play a good shot. So there's no point when you come up to a hole, you might think, oh, I'm always, pushing this one into the trees on the right, or you're dark hooking it, or things like that. If you start thinking along those lines, you're actually defeating the purpose of all the training that you put in at a driving range, because you're not recalling all that muscle memory that you've used to develop and get your swing going. So always think of whenever and I've got to do this myself. I'm not very good at it, but I've got to start improving on it. Is that whenever I pick a golf club up, I've got to see if I can recall fairly quickly the best shot that I've had with that previously, or even a recent shot that came out fairly good. Because what that's going to do is you hook into your memory, and then your brain obviously sends the thousands, millions, however many signals to all your muscle groups to get that swing going. You actually have a better chance at being able to play a good shot when you're positive, because you're actually recalling the right muscles to make that shot. Whereas you see a lot of people when they're down and out, and their opponents want them to stay down and out, so they're not going to, there'll be some people that'll try and motivate other people, come on, let's get to the next shot. Don't worry about that one, forget it. And you basically got to do that, because if you don't, it's going to keep getting in the way of you remembering all your good muscle memories for all your good shots. And also helps with your enjoyment with the game as well. So, yeah, always think of whenever you come up to a shot, and there'll be another video that I'll put on when it comes to shot preparation. That'll help with just being able to find the moment to, you're not going to take hours and hours and hours, or be known as a very slow player, just because you got to think, oh, how many years ago was it when I had a good shot, or things like that. You want to be able to recall those really good feelings, the good muscle memory fairly quickly, because if you spend more time over the ball just by thinking about other things, where your hands, your knees, whatever it'll be, it's going to give you more of a chance to not make a good shot, because you're not keeping the muscle memory recall in your brain at the moment. Like, you should just walk up, hit it, and be able to have a good shot. But that'll always help you with playing a better shot. If you think of the best shot you've played with the club, even in those really bad rounds, always go, right, okay, I had a good shot, 3 weeks ago with this club. I'll just see if I can repeat that. Remember how and that's the muscle memory coming back into it. When you try and remember how you played that shot, you recall all those muscle memory groups, and it just gives you a better chance at the shot. And as I said before, as I break into the next point, just break your game up in little pieces. I mean, it's not it's a very hard game to just pick all the shots up. There's obviously a few people that'll just be natural athletes and be able to go bang, and it all just happens. Whereas what you need to do is just ensure that if your driver's off and the rest of your game's fine, then there's no point working on the rest of your game, because you know that it's just taking you 2 or 3 shots to get back into the hole and back into a good position, and you go, right, okay, I got to fix the driver up. So, and then once you fix the driver up, you'll start to realize that, all right, well, mid irons, I need to work on those, or I'm just not, one chip, one putt is where I try and do all the time. It obviously doesn't happen, otherwise I wouldn't have a handicap if it did. But you can see by working on one area and getting that going, then helps, get a bit of momentum on all the rest of your round and the rest of your shots. So you end up playing a lower round. And I guess the other thing I've said here, when I said earlier, people say they hit all their best shots on the driving range, and then when they come onto the course, it's a little bit different, because on the course, you remember, on a driving range, you've got artificial grass. So basically, even your bad shots are going to feel good coming off them. So you just got to, I guess, when you're at the range, go, all right, that was a little bit bad, but it still came out well. don't be too critical, I guess, of your really bad stuff on the range, because you'll find that with grass, especially if it's got a little bit of water underneath it and you catch just behind the ball, it's going to give you a bit of a fat shot, if you like. So that's the example that I've put there. So just make sure that when you don't spend, I guess, a lot of time on the range, and get the used to that feeling, because when you get used to that feeling of the matting, makes a big difference. If like the course where I'm at has got a lot of work on it, so there's going to be a lot of different um, types of lies, whether they're tight lies or grass, no grass, perfect lies. So it's where at the moment I'm kind of not too disappointed. I mean, obviously I've got to, to get down to the next stage, I've got to practice. There's no escaping that. I just have to. You can't expect, playing once a week to keep going down and down and down and getting a better handicap. You're definitely going to need to do that practice, but I'll be mindful that when I'm at the range that, have to take into that matting into the account, or the artificial grass, because it's always going to be a good feeling. And I'll know, like, well, I guess I'm at the stage where I'll know where if I've hit that a little bit fat, but still come up well, then just take that into account. So that's the one thing you've got to take into consideration when you go from the range to the onto the courses. When you're on the course, especially when you play those nice little wedge shots where you want to hit the ball first rather than hit the ground to stop. To get the chunks out of your system. And the last point where I've just broken everything down. So that's where your driver, that's a separate swing altogether, because you swing up on the ball. It's the only shot that you play in your round where you actually hit up off a tee, whereas you don't do that with your fairway woods, your hybrids, and everything else, all your irons. You're actually hitting down on the ball to get it up. And so that's where you try and connect with the lower part of the ball first before you start taking your divots. So you always hit down on those. That's why driver's separate to all your other clubs. Same with your putter. Your putter's the only club that you will make that type of stroke with. You won't use a putting action. Oh, I mean, you can on chip shots. Try and get it as close to your putting action as possible. Not always the case, though. Some people can do it. I generally like to have a separate chipping action as opposed to my putter. I mean, if I'm just off the green and like I've got to cover a foot of rough, then yes, I will basically play a putt with my whichever club I choose to chip with, just to give it the best chance of rolling up close to the hole. But yeah, your hybrids, your long irons, so they're all the clubs where you'll take full swings, try and hit the ball first, and then your short game. And you can even bring break down your short game. So you've obviously got your wedge, where you learn how to hit a full wedge and a half wedge, pitch shots and chip shots. Now there's a difference between those. Chip shots, you're basically a few meters away from the green at most, whereas pitch shots can be anything from 50 to 40 meters in. So that's where you'll have more of a body turn when you play the shot, as opposed to a chip shot where you won't have as much body turn, because you want to stay in control and be more precise and finesse with your chip shots. And your bunker shots can sort of be the same, a combination in between the pitch shots and the chip shots. But again, that'll also depend on the lie. And if you like, I can go through that in another video. But you can see there from the last bit, that's how you sort of break your game down and just do bits and pieces, and then it'll slowly all come together, or quickly all come together. It depends on, I guess, how much you practice and play, and how you practice, which is the big thing. So I've got another slide. I mean, this is probably an unrealistic one, because generally, I've got someone from here in 43 rounds, they've gone from 100 to 72 off a stick. So it's a little bit, it can happen. And that's sort of within the year. But what I wanted to show with this slide is that so what'll happen is your game will get better because each time you work on a component and it gets better, you see your shot scoring will come down, but then it'll start to go up again. You go, right, that's the point where you either go get another lesson, you go to the you start to work on the next bit of your game. Once it starts going up, because you'll find that because one part's going well, the rest of your game's going to adjust. So whether that means that it's you're hitting the ball longer, you're hitting more fairways, you're having less putts, you're not getting as much trouble, but all of a sudden you'll start to have that bit go up, and then you've just got to realize, right, okay, the score's going bad again. Just try and isolate what part of the game you'd like to improve, and it takes a little while for that improvement to go through. Obviously, sometimes with putting, if you get your putting stroke right, bang, your round's going to come straight down because you don't have you might have 5 or 6 putts less. And if you look at that graph, a 5 or 6 putt drop is going to be fairly substantial. So there's some parts sometimes that when you do a change, it's not always it's going to go bad, or a lot of times if you do a swing change or a grip change or one of those more, you get new clubs, so you hit them further. So that's one of those. They're all major changes, so they'll take a few rounds for you to get your game going from bad to better. That's why you always see or you hear of the pros. I always say, trust in the process, and the reason why you trust in the process is because it's not going to be bad forever. No, I've never heard of anyone who would just go from one score of say 80 and then they'll just keep going and going and going till they're 100. You might eventually do that, and that's years and years and years where age catches up, or you might only play once every few couple of months, or things like that. That would cause your game to go back out substantially. But hopefully with this graph, it just gives you a bit of confidence, I guess, that, even though it seems as though it's going bad, if you keep doing what either your coach tells you or it's the right thing, your game will eventually turn around because you you'll get that bit of form, whether it's whatever part of your game you're working on. Once you start getting the form, it gives you confidence with all the other parts of your game, even if it's one where you generally don't have confidence because you're so confident on the rest. It's going to be infectious. It goes back to getting those good muscle memories back into your mind more often, and that's how your scores come down, because you've got the right muscle memories dialed in. So hopefully with, I guess, these two slides, just gives you a sort of a broad overview to go, the game can always get better. We're always going to be have times where we're going to be frustrated, and it's going to be terrible to be out there. But I guess the viewpoint of where I'm at now is that it's more of, if I wasn't on the golf course, where else would I really want to be? And the point of the answer is I'd rather be on the golf course. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So hopefully that's what these two slides are going to help you out with, is to give you that feeling to go, look, I'd love to play golf 7 days a week and be paid for it. That'd be amazing. That'd be awesome. That's the dream, I guess. And even though I'm not going to get paid to play golf, although, I guess if this takes off, then so be it. But in the real world term, you just want to make it though, as it feels as though that someone's paying you to play, because it's such a pleasure to be there. Because, obviously with your friends, family, or whoever else you want to be, if you're playing in competition and you want to like, I love competition, so that's sort of, I like the challenge. That's the thing that it gets me out there. So hopefully all this will help you with your journey, and yeah, just give you a few more ideas, or if it's not anything that I say, that at least it might jog something in your mind to go, oh yeah, I've got to go look for that bit of information and and go into it. But yeah, no, thank you very much for I guess sticking around and listening to this video. I hope you get something out of it, and that you'll keep following me on my journey. So yeah, if you like this one, then definitely click the like button, say a comment if there's anything else that you want me to say or do, or you want to see, and click the subscribe and hit the bell so you know that when I do another video. But thanks for this one. Look after yourself, and great golfing.